Good evening, everyone, or good morning, where if you're watching from somewhere else in the world. Welcome to Around for the Weekend. As always, we are powered. This show is powered by Belly Up Sports, and we are part of the Belly Up Sports podcast-ish network, part of the live network. And this week's episode is going to be fun. We're going to do some NFL championship weekend predictions. I'm going to do some hockey, talk about the hot weekend hockey, and that has been the week in hockey. I'm excited that the NHL is back. It's back in action, back in effect, and hoping to talk a little bit of hockey today. So, as always, we're going to kick things off with what you're drinking. Tonight, I'm drinking Two Roads Holiday Ale, the Bière de Noël, and this is obviously a. No, there we go. It was left over from the holidays by local gas station. It's funny, like you discover places you don't think would be a craft beer store. And there's a local gas station where I am on Route 67. It's called USA Gas. It's one of a few in the Albany, New York area. And one of my sandwich guy, my guy Russell, he's Russell's Deli, and he said, if you want good craft beer, go to USA Gas. I'm like, USA Gas? Are you kidding me? But I go down there, and they have a selection of craft brews. They have a beer cave, so it rivals some of the local beverage centers in the area. They get some stuff that you don't see in the local beverage area or the convenience stores. So I got this. I got this on sale for less than $10. So it's holiday ale from Two Roads. Let me just look it up on beer on Untapped. 1 second here. Two Roads Brewing. They're based out of Stratford, Connecticut. So Jared, if you're watching, they're around your neck of the woods. Usually I try to drink a local brewery or a local ale based out of New York. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but today I decided to go with the holiday ale from Two Roads. But I like Two Roads. They've got some good selections. I've had their wheat beer before. So this is what it says on the website. It says Holiday Ale Bière de Garde. Two Roads Holiday Ale inspired by the little-known Bière de Noël style, a subset of Bière de Garde, both of which originated on small farmhouse breweries in the north of France. Bière de Noël, which translates as Christmas beer, of course, tends to exhibit more multi-profile than a typical Bière de Garde. In its native France, this special type of ale is brewed by just a handful of small breweries and is only available to a few weeks leading up to Christmas. So I went up getting, they had a bunch of 6-packs, so I picked one up. I figured I'd give it a try and see what it's like. So let me go ahead and apparently won silver medal at the GIBF in 2015. So if it wins a medal in something, it must be good. So let me go ahead and give us a try. Oh, I'm introducing a new a new member of the show. I call him Bordy Howe. We had a chat in our podcast chat on our Slack channel this week and for Belly Up Sports. Give you a little bit of inside baseball about Belly Up Sports. We like to clown around with each other. So apparently this is from an ESPN show. I forgot the name of it already. But I guess one of the journalists, Woody Page, he does a board every day. He does a board and he writes different messages on it. So my buddy Parker Ainsworth, he's on FN Sports. He's one of the co-hosts of FN Sports with Shaka Cummings. What's up, guys? We just kind of clown around and say, what can we do this type of thing? Like, can we just have like a board? And I'm like, I got a dry erase board, so here we are. I sure hope Parker's watching. So I tagged him in the photo on Facebook on the Twitter account page for around for the weekend beforehand. But anyway, let me go ahead and get into this holiday ale. As usual, here's my co-star. Here's my other co-star. Mason jar. Pretty sure this is going to turn into Pee-wee's Playhouse, where I have Conky and Couchy and Cherry. Coming up next, Cowboy Courage is going to stop by along with Miss Yvonne. I'm old. Ooh, nice amber color. And that pours well. This was packaged on October 22nd, so it's still kind of fresh. I mean, for beer standards. All right. We made it, everyone. We made it through another week. Cheers, everybody. Not bad. Not bad. A little bit. Ooh, get a little spice kick at the end. It's definitely got that multi profile as described in the website. And they intend to release this in early November in 12 ounces in draft, but I guess they went with the cans this year. So, Two Roads Brewing, good on you. The No Limits Hefeweizen I've had, and that's excellent, by the way. It's a great summer beer. If you're looking for a summer beer to cool you down, Hefeweizen, Two Roads, go with that. No Limits to go with that. Go with Master P. All right, so on to the NFL Championship weekend predictions. Now, last week I had my buddy Chris Pinto from Belly Up Fantasy Live. Shout out to him. We did our predictions for championship weekend, and unfortunately, none of our 3 out of several we had. I made 3 out of 4 predictions that were bad. So I had the Rams beating the Packers. That was a dumb move. I had the Chiefs beating the Browns. Got that one right. I had the Ravens beating the Bills. Bad pick. And I also had the Saints beating the Buccaneers. Obviously, 3 out of the 4 picks were garbage. But this week, we've got 2 games. They're both on Sunday. Both Sunday games. I believe the NFC Championship is the day game at 3:05. So that'll be Tampa Bay at Green Bay. And that's going to be a fun watch because Tom Brady, whenever you try to knock him down, he always seems to get back up. No matter what team he's on, whether it be the Patriots, whether it be and now the Buccaneers, he's been on a mission to be part of the first team to ever host a Super Bowl. I see this all the time in the CFL and the Grey Cup. I see the host city sometimes make it all the way to the Grey Cup championship. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. I think the last time that happened was Saskatchewan in 2013. So the old Taylor Field. So all right, sorry. Football nerd alert. Just want to give you a heads up, even though I'm wearing my New Jersey Devils t-shirt. We'll get to hockey later, but Tom Brady said, who went on a mission this year, he says, I want to be on the team that has the first. We're going to host the first ever Super Bowl in our stadium. So he's on a mission. He was clearly on that mission last week against New Orleans. The defense did his job. They allowed 20 points, but they forced turnovers. They forced 4 turnovers. There was 3 picks against Drew Brees. They forced Jared Cook to fumble and wound up taking the lead and tying the game, then taking the lead and never looking back. So they're on their mission. They've played on the road. It's interesting. You don't see many teams that start on the road as a wild card go all the way to the end, go all the way to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. I think the Raiders did it twice back in the 80s. And I think the Bills did that as well, but I think they were AFC East champions beforehand. So that was back in the early 90s. But you don't see many wild card teams go all the way to the Super Bowl. And that's going to be one of the narratives that's going on this weekend is that Tom Brady is leading his team to another Super Bowl as a wild card, and it's going to be Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, and it's Tom Brady's got all these rings, and now he's this close to being in the Super Bowl without Bill Belichick, and you got Aaron Rodgers, who has only been to one Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl 2011. They won in 2011. Aaron Rodgers with Mike McCarthy, no relation. Just want to give you a heads up on that. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game. I think it's going to be up to see whether the defenses step up. Green Bay's defense stepped it up last week against the Rams. They're basically playing a guy. They're playing against the defense was playing against a quarterback who was basically playing with half a thumb. That's what it came down to. I mean, Jared Goff had an okay game. They got their running game was all right, but Green Bay, they had the home crowd, they had the home advantage, and wound up winning the game. So, Tampa is, Tampa has been on the road for the last couple of weeks. They're going to be in Green Bay. From what I understand, the weather's going to be kind of squiffy. There might be cold. There might be there might be snow showers. We'll see. But Tom Brady has played in cold weather. He played cold weather games in New England when the Patriots were in town. So, traps notifications there. I got a new laptop yesterday, so I'm still playing with it, still getting familiar with Windows 10 on this side. But yeah, I mean, they say, oh, Tampa Bay can't win in cold weather. Tampa Bay can't. These southern teams can't win in cold weather. No, I mean, some of these guys played in cold weather in college. Tom Brady's, again, no stranger to playing in cold weather environments. He did it in New England. He's gone to other, when he was with the Patriots, he's gone to other cities. They've won in cold weather. So I'm nonplussed when it comes to that kind of thing. When it comes to that kind of narrative, because I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous narrative. For this game, I'm going to say, I think if Tampa Bay's defense, Todd Bowles, my New York Jets ex-head coach, former head coach of the New York Jets, defensive coordinator extraordinaire, Todd Bowles, I think if he comes up with some plans and some schemes and to get to Aaron Rodgers, stop the run, because they did that last week against New Orleans. They stopped the run, and if they can stop the run, they can stop Aaron Jones. It's going to be. I think the Bucks come away with the victory if they stop the run, if they force Aaron Rodgers to throw interceptions, and if Tom Brady can put together some long drives, some drives that eats the clock, that keeps Aaron Rodgers in the offense, the Packers offense, off the field, I think you see Tampa Bay being the first team in NFL history to host a Super Bowl. So I think my famous last words, sorry, Tampa, this is my kiss of death. I think Tampa wins this game. Now, we go to the other side, the AFC. You got the Bills versus the Chiefs, and everything was going to be was going to count on whether or not Patrick Mahomes was going to be cleared through concussion protocol. Now, a few hours ago, the reports coming out that Patrick Mahomes says, "Yeah, I've gone through three independent doctors. I've gone through three doctors, and all three of them have said I've cleared concussion protocol. I can go ahead. I'm good to go for Sunday." All right, that changes a lot, because if Mahomes doesn't play, Buffalo wins. Buffalo's been on a roll. Buffalo has been. I had my doubts coming into the playoffs. I'll say, I'm sorry, Buffalo fans. Don't hate me. Don't at me. But I had my doubts coming into the playoffs. Now, they played Indianapolis, and that's going to be a tough game. I think that's a tougher game than most people thought. And they wound up squeaking out the game. The Baltimore game, a lot of it had to do with the weather, but they wound up stopping Lamar Jackson. And as soon as he exited the game, it was game over. And that pick six in the third quarter was game over. And Buffalo's defense is better than everybody thinks. They're a little bit smaller, but they're fast. So they're going to give, back in October, during the whole COVID thing, when all the schedules went kind of crazy and the schedules went awry, and they had to reschedule games, and they wound up playing on a Tuesday. It was at Kansas City. Kansas City, it was a tough game. It was a slugfest. And both teams were very, both defenses were going at it, and Buffalo's defense held the Chiefs to 22 points, but the Chiefs defense held the Bills to 10 points. Now, the Bills offense has gotten better since then. a lot better. Josh Allen, he's an MVP candidate. As a Jets fan, I'm very jealous that that he's gotten to the point where I hoped Sam Darnold would be, but at the same time, it helps to have a coach who lets his offensive coordinator coordinate the offense and not have to worry about calling plays. Let the offensive coordinator call the plays, and Sean McDermott can do head coach things. He can organize the offense. He can organize the defense, make adjustments where necessary because he's the head coach. But let Brian Daboll do his thing. And there's a reason why Brian Daboll is being considered for a lot of positions for head coach this past offseason with a bunch of teams. I think the Texans are still. I think the Texans are the only team that hasn't named a new head coach yet. So that remains to be seen who they'll pick up. I'm hearing Leslie Frazier is going to be the one who will be taking over the reins. That could be a thing. It could be him. It could be Brian Daboll. So or Dabble. I don't know how you pronounce it. Help me out here. Help me out in the comments section. Is it Dable or Dabble? Dabble. So anyway, this is going to be the game of the day. Tampa Bay Green Bay is going to be a fun game to watch, but I think Buffalo Kansas City is going to be the game of the day. And somebody made a pretty interesting meme that every 27 years the Chiefs and the Bills meet in the AFC Championship. The last time they met in the AFC Championship was 1993, I want to say. And Kansas City went into Buffalo. They just upset Houston the week before, and close game. Buffalo pulled it out in the end and went to their third straight Super Bowl, and then got slapped around by Dallas the next week. It was their fourth straight Super Bowl. I think it was their fourth straight Super Bowl, but this is going to be a fun game. I expect Mahomes to be Mahomes. I expect Josh Allen to be Josh Allen. And I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than it was last time between these two teams. But I think at the end, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo has been one of the hottest teams in the league since October. And that's my cat Oreo. She's hungry. So I think Buffalo is going to take this game. Kansas City's got the home crowd. I don't know how the concussion protocol will affect Patrick Mahomes, but I think Buffalo is going to play a tougher game than a lot of people expect. So I think Buffalo takes this game. I think there'll be a field goal at the end of the game or towards the end of the game, and Buffalo's defense will hold suit. So excuse me for a second. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. I think Buffalo will win. Late field goal. They win by 3, and they're on the way to the Super Bowl. So Buffalo, Tampa Bay. The last time Buffalo went to a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay was against the Giants, Super Bowl 25, and that turned tragic. But it's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully, Buffalo and Tampa Bay. Can Buffalo overcome Tom Brady? That'll be the big narrative. So that's my prediction. So Tampa Bay and Buffalo, those are my predictions for Championship Sunday in the NFL. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. We'll do that hockey. Sorry, folks. I had one of you watching. I had to feed my cat Oreo real quick. Not Tagalong. Tagalong is currently up in the rafters, sleeping, literally sleeping the day away. So he won't. No guest appearance this week for the team mascot, official team mascot of Around for the Weekend. So let's do the hockey. Let's talk some hockey. I'm enjoying the season. We had the first full week of the NHL on this past week. Had some scares with COVID concerns. I know the Carolina Hurricanes had to postpone one of their games. Until I believe tomorrow. They play Nashville for their first game, so it'll be their first game back. And Dallas had to cease operations for 10 days because they had COVID positive tests in their locker room. So all right, so I just got to do one quick thing. Okay, so NHL. I'm excited. I'm having a fun time watching the NHL. It's a 56 game race, and yeah, it's interesting to see which teams are currently at the top of their respective divisions. Let's look at the standings real quick. So the Central Division, Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, they're both on their way to 56-0. So are the Vegas Golden Knights in the West. They're 4-0. They're in the Central Division, which is funny because it's two Florida teams in the Central Division. So Tampa, Florida, Nashville, Carolina, I kind of expected that. Detroit is 2-2 with no overtime losses. They're at 4 points right now. They're actually tied for second, a four-way tie for second. They've played more games than Florida, Nashville, and Carolina, but they have two wins. Columbus, 4 points, 1, 2, and 2 with 5 games. Chicago and Dallas. Dallas plays their first games this weekend. Actually, they play tonight against Nashville. So that was wrong in that regard, so I apologize. They play their first game tonight as the defending Western Conference champion. East Division, Pittsburgh's in first, Islanders second, Washington third, Devils, Bruins tied for fourth, although the New Jersey holds the tiebreaker. Go Devils. Pittsburgh Rangers and Buffalo. North Division, Montreal. Montreal 3-0-2 with 8 points. They have, next to Vegas, the most points in the league. They're on the tie. They have a tie for the President's Trophy, although Vegas is the top spot because they're have a perfect record. So Montreal, Winnipeg, Toronto, Calgary. That's the top 4. Then Edmonton, Vancouver, and Ottawa. In the West, you got Vegas, Minnesota. Minnesota is probably the most surprising team amongst this list because they've had a couple of comeback victories to start the season. They're excellent rookie Kirill Kaprizov. He scored a couple of game-winning goals, so he's played excellent. St. Louis in third. Colorado has kind of underwhelming expectations right now. I mean, they're favored to be the top spot in the West. And you got Los Angeles, San Jose, Anaheim, and Arizona. I expected kind of a drop off for Arizona because Taylor Hall is gone, and there's some kind of uncertainty in ownership in the locker room. Excuse me 1 second. Oreo's balling up a storm again. All right, sorry again. When my sister, I have my sister who leaves the house sometimes, so she'll get sad and start crying when there's nobody, when she can't see anybody. Anyway, so NHL, couple surprises, couple of expected things happening. Tampa's on top of their division. That's no surprise. Philly's on top of their division. Not a surprise. Vegas, same thing. Not a surprise. I expect Colorado to start winning games as every team gets their feet under them. It starts to get more games in. I expect Colorado to win some games. Minnesota, if they keep that pace, they could make the playoffs. I thought Minnesota was going to have kind of a rebuilding year, but they got some excellent. They got that Kaprizov kid. He's going to keep scoring goals. Vegas, I expect them to be in the West, be a contender for sure. In the North, I had Calgary winning the division with Edmonton following up in second place. Montreal and Toronto. Montreal's exceeded expectations so far with 3-0, being 3-0 with 2 overtime losses. They have a +8 differential. Vancouver kind of struggling, surprisingly. Ottawa, they're chugging along. I thought this is kind of a rebuild year for them. We got a mix of veterans and young guys, and I think the young guys can get some more experience. In the East, not surprised that Washington's among the mix. I know there's some COVID concerns there too. They just got fined $100,000 for having a COVID party, basically a COVID party. I don't want to make light of that, but Washington, my New Jersey Devils, they lost their first game last night, but they beat Boston. They took 5 out of 6 points from Boston. No, I'm sorry, 3 out of possible 4 points from Boston in the first week, and then they beat the Rangers. So happy about that. Pittsburgh, I kind of expected them to kind of drop off because their defense is kind of and they got young goaltending too. The Rangers, I'm not surprised that they are where they are in third, and same with Buffalo. Buffalo can score goals. They can also give up a lot of goals. In the Central, I think Columbus, once they get Pierre-Luc Dubois out of their hair, and especially Tortorella's hair too, he's become kind of a pain and there's a thorn in their side. I think it's interesting to see Columbus, because once they kind of make trades and they get certain guys who are kind of pains in the necks out of their hair, they seem to do a lot better. So I think once they make that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade, I think things will start to turn around for them. Detroit, I'm surprised that they're just right outside the cusp of playoff spot. Good again. They've only played 4 games. It's only the first week of the season. It's a 56-game schedule. They got 52 more games to go. Dallas start their games tonight, so we'll see what happens with that. With Dallas, I think they might also compete for the Central Division. I think so. I think the way things go in the Central, I think Tampa's going to win the first place. I think Carolina is going to be in the mix. Dallas is definitely going to be there. Carolina is going to be in there. Nashville's going to be in there. Columbus, again, if they get rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois, that might change their fortunes a little bit. But otherwise, it's a good start to the season. I'm having fun watching hockey for the first time in a very long, since the playoffs, since the playoff bubble. And I get to watch my New Jersey Devils finally for the first time, and I can't think of how long. So I get to watch my New Jersey Devils play hockey. I get to watch them most nights. I get to record them. Get to watch the games. I'd like to try and learn if there's like kind of a watch 22 that the NFL has, where you break down film and you look at certain plays. Maybe that's for hockey, but I didn't play hockey when I was a kid. I did street hockey, but I didn't skate. I didn't learn skate until a few years ago. So, hopefully, when the rinks start opening up, I can get back on the ice myself. But in the meantime, NHL, go watch it. If you're into that hockey, if you're not into that hockey, I feel sad for you. I feel sad, and I kind of want to watch along with you. I kind of want to teach you the ins and outs of hockey. if it would love to get you introduced to the game, because I dig it, and I think you would dig it too. All right, so sad note today, and we'll wrap up the show. Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron passed away at the age of 86 today. And to many, he's still considered the home run king. He's still considered the home run king with 755 career home runs. Obviously, a lot of people think that Barry Bonds was, because of the whole steroid scandal, that he doesn't deserve the home run king. I mean, the steroids didn't hit the home runs, guys. Barry Bonds hit the home runs. But Hank Aaron, we'll get back to Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron, such a legend and such a gentleman on and off the field, from what I understand. I got a chance to go to Hall of Fame weekend. I was reminded this on my buddy Mike's Facebook page today. We as an intern for a radio station in New York, up here in New York, we covered the Hall of Fame induction ceremony back in 2019, and Hank Aaron was in the crowd, and he got a standing ovation, obviously for a lot of reasons. He's a big influence in the world of sports, amongst society. He faced a lot of racial injustice, basically because he hit home runs. Because he hit home runs, he was taking over a white man's record, and people were threatened by that. And I remember watching a documentary where he received really the worst letters you could ever write. And as somebody who, for me, who believes racism is an affront to God, as someone who's a Christian, because you're basically hating someone else who's created in the image of God. It's just horrible to see that kind of abuse he received. But these are the records that he still holds. Now, like I said, in many people's minds, Hank Aaron's still the home run king. Okay. But here's the records that he still holds. He still holds the Major League Baseball record for career RBIs, 2,297. Total bases, 6,856. And extra base hits, 1,477. He's also third all-time in hits, games played, and he's fourth all-time in runs scored. So he hit, in his career, in 22 seasons, he hit 3,771 hits, 3,298 games played, and 2,174 runs scored. I mean, holy cow. That's an incredible record. Those are incredible records. I mean, 22 years, and he's and to think that back then he was kind of, I wouldn't say he wasn't a star, but he was amongst those who were well respected in back in the day, back in Major League Baseball. He's also he's a business. He was also a businessman. After baseball, he was a businessman. He engaged in philanthropy. He was a philanthropist, and here's the thing: he was a gentleman too. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm reading this ESPN story by in ESPN News Services. I'm reading the story. He says, Bond. This is I'm quoting here. Despite allegations that Bonds used performance enhancing drugs, again, steroids didn't hit the home runs. Barry Bonds did. Aaron never begrudged someone eclipsing his mark. His common refrain, more than 3 decades as king was long enough. It was time for someone else to hold the record. That's a gentleman. I mean, I wouldn't begrudge anybody breaking my record either. I mean, that's just a sign of respect. And Hank, I mean, I wish I would have met him. I wish I had gotten a chance to meet him. That would have been one of my dream interviews right there, was to interview Hank Aaron. He was, I mean, I'm just reading the list of accolades he had as a baseball player. He was MVP, National League MVP in 1957, 2-time batting champion, 3-time Gold Glove winner, 25-time All-Star. 25 times. The only times he didn't get wasn't an All-Star was his first season and his last season. That's just uncanny. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just, he played for the Milwaukee Braves, who then moved to Atlanta. Then he got traded to Milwaukee in 1974. In 1970, played there in 1975 and 1976. First ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, first ballot Hall of Famer. 9 votes short of being the first unanimous choice ever, which is a crying shame. I'd like to meet the 9 people who voted against him. And 1999, Major League Baseball created the Hank Aaron Award, given annually to the best hitter in both the AL and the NL. So, one of the greatest players ever. And he was an activist, a civil rights activist. Didn't play baseball because only white students had teams. He was born in Alabama. He grew up in Alabama, one of the states that did most egregiously to black citizens. And yeah, again, during the build-up of his passing Ruth's home run mark, threats were made on his life by people who did not want to see a black man break the record. That is crazy. I mean, a record's a record. Doesn't matter who holds the record. A record is still a record. And that's sad. But, we hopefully, and I think that what America's going through right now, we just had the installation of a new president this week, Joe Biden. I didn't vote for the guy, and I'll probably be deplatformed because of that. I say that jokingly, but it could happen. Anything can happen. But, for the last couple of months, not even a couple of months, I'd probably say the last 6 or 7 years, and I mentioned this before in a past show, America's having family issues. We've always had family issues. We're a family. We're supposed to talk these things out. And Hank Aaron was one of those guys who said, yeah, I mean, he wanted people to be treated he wanted black people to be treated as equals. I'm no shame in that. No shame. No, nothing against that. Nothing against what people wanted to be treated as equals. Want to be treated as flesh and blood. And it's a big loss for Major League Baseball. And from what I understand, in the statement, it said it died and he passed away peacefully in his sleep, which is kind of the way you want to go. But it's a sad day that one of the greatest legends in baseball passes away. Tommy Lasorda passed away. Have already passed. There's two other former players and managers that already passed away. That passed away. And it's not even. We're not even at January yet. So Tommy Lasorda passed away. Rest in peace, Tommy. And Don Sutton, formerly Major League pitcher, also passed away. So, a lot of these legends, a lot of these legendary players, a lot of these legendary managers are passing away. But Hank, thank you for everything. Thank you for being a gentleman of the game, for being a gentleman outside the game, and for being just a stand-up guy. I hope you see you one day at the pearly. I hope to meet you one day at the pearly gates when I go. So, cheers to you, friend. Rest in peace. All right. So, before we go, let me bring up this read, because we want to give a shout out to one of our partners here at Belly Up Sports, which is Invader Coffee. And this episode of Around for the Weekend is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good quality coffee with no BS and no filter, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company. They aim to serve only the highest quality, organic, All right, let me start over. Because, again, new laptop problems. I forgot to do word wrap and Notepad. So, anyway, this episode of Around for the Weekend is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good quality coffee with no BS and no filter, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim only to serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They aim to keep only serve the highest quality, and they keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, and 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com. Enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and you receive 15% off your order. All right, so let's connect, folks. I've had a pretty exciting week at Belly Up Land. On Monday, I was a guest on the Down to the Wire program. It's featuring with Errol Marks and Speedy Pete, his production manager. I was on there for about half an hour. We talked football, we talked hockey, we talked baseball. It was a fun program. I hope to be on there again. Errol and Speedy Pete, thanks for having me on. If you're watching. I was also did an episode of No Credentials Required, which is my other podcast, with my co-host Corey Mansfield, and we did a podcast recording that week. And today was kind of a fun, kind of a cool thing I got a chance to do. I got to interview a Hollywood actor for the first time, and it was interesting because I had presented the opportunity to all of us as a group got the opportunity to try to interview him. I volunteered because I got the day off. I had the day off from work, and it was interesting to kind of be part of a virtual Hollywood junket. And let me go ahead and share the No Credentials Required page from Belly Up Sports. So there it is. I interviewed Sean Patrick Flanery, who is releasing a new film today called Born a Champion. And I encourage you to go listen to the interview, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on iTunes or any other podcast platform. I encourage you to listen to the interview. It's about a little less than 10 minutes. That's all we were only allowed 10 minutes per person, but I got the chance to talk to him this morning. He's a cool dude. So shout out to Sean Patrick Flanery. Good guy. Nice guy. I talked to him about jiu-jitsu because he's a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and this movie is kind of it's a martial arts movie. You don't see many films that are based on jiu-jitsu. And this is kind of the first one I've discovered. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be others. But he talked about his inspiration for the film, how he talks about how he came up with the idea for the film, how this was a big part of it, but it was not. It's also a love story. So I encourage you to check out the interview. Like I said, it's about the whole thing with bumpers is about 11 and a half minutes. But I encourage you to check it out. I hope you give it a listen. Because he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude to talk to, and I'm humbled to have the opportunity to interview him for even for a 10-minute talk. It's cool to interview a Hollywood actor for the first time. So a movie that's coming out, and I'm hoping to watch it this weekend. So the movie it's called Born a Champion, and go check it out. It's on demand. It's on demand. It's on digital. It's in select theaters. It's going to be on DVD and Blu-ray on Tuesday, the 26th. Yep, Tuesday, the 26th. Just want to double check and see I was right. So, but yeah, check out the interview. And again, I talked to Sean Patrick Flanery for a bit. Nice guy. And if you know him, one of his cult classic movie, Boondock Saints. But otherwise, he's doing his own thing with. He wrote he co-wrote this film, and he did all the choreography for the fights for the jiu-jitsu scene. So that's pretty cool because I believe he's a third-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. Crazy thing. So anyway, check out the interview on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Again, there's no credentials required. Go ahead and check that out. Let's connect on Facebook, facebook.com/BellyUpSportsAFCW, Twitter and Instagram at BellyUpAFTW, and on YouTube, AFTW BellyUp. So again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And there's my Twitter handle, my personal Twitter handle right there, at WhoIsRyanMCC. And I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to eat some dinner and hang out with some friends. So, as long as the state of New York allows, at least. But cheers, everyone. Appreciate you watching. If you watch the replay, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Until next time, I'll see you at the pub. Cheers, everybody. So on behalf of Mason the Jar, Bordy Howe, Ryan McCarthy signing off. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Be well. God bless you.